Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Moin.
Romans,
Lobster.
friends, mega titties. Hello, it's me, it's Jerry.
Bergie,
How's you all?
I'm fucking amazing. Today I'm mainly drinking potential future nonsense.
I love these names.
Yep. and then I seen what you were drinking.
I feel like people who make up those names need to make a book or something, like a calendar for each day. You lost your trooper.
I've got another fucking pint somewhere. I literally just brought them into this room and set them down. They can't have gone far.
You sure you didn't sit on them?
I'd notice if I was sitting on it.
One Jerry, one can.
Oh, it's in the window. Yep. So what are you drinking?
I'm drinking very lovely brown lemonade.
Hitler juice. So for later on, I've got 3% chance of tears. Because there will be. And also, people at home, remember I'd put that in the windowsill. Also, have you seen my background?
Our subs don't implode. Oh,
Too soon?
too soon.
Too soon? I think so.
Jeebus. Ooh.
It ranks up there with the fact that the Soviets are now crushing their dead into meat cubes that they're putting on pallets and shrink wrapping to send back home.
The fuck what?
Literal meat cubes. It's the most efficient way to compress a lot of dead Russians to return them back to the motherland.
You're pulling my leg.
There are pictures.
Oh fuck! Because just before the show, I've seen a picture of something that looked like a large block of ice leaking, and I was wondering.
That's a Soviet meat cube.
Oh fuck! Oh god!
Good times. Sorely green as Russian people. Very, very much so, David.
Oh, we do live in the darkest of times.
Mm.
Did I fall in some kind of parallel universe?
I don't know. Don't think so.
God.
I'm just checking to see if all my miniatures are painted, and they're not. So no, still the same universe.
Your personal spinny thing on the table is my miniatures are all painted.
Very much so.
You know what their MREs are made of.
Yep.
God.
It's men ready to eat.
Happy 4th of July. Oh.
Oh, good times. Good times.
I think at this point we could just stop. we peaked. We came. We saw.
You never want to peak too soon. Like Mandy came and you saw. Oh, Mandy.
Yeah, I missed you.
And you gave without taking.
Well,
Angel's favorite songs, and he knows all the words. Anyway, so yeah.
So
how's your day been? Good day. Yeah.
Grand. I've been given blood today again, so I'm lightheaded already.
Ready. So it's cheap date time.
I was contemplating to get myself either coffee, beer, or brown lemonade, and well, here I am.
It's an outrage. So what did everybody think of Warren's fucking cry for help? By the end of it, it was like, you need time off, mate. I'm glad you're taking 3 weeks off.
I think he's that close to losing it.
That close? I don't think he was that close at all. I think he'd stepped off the other side. Some of the hate smeared from that's blood. Yep, pretty much. Platelets.
I'm not saying it is. At the same time, I'm not saying it isn't. You'll have to find that out, and if you do, let us know.
Yeah, time will tell. Anyway, what's going on there? Why they're
There's a tinfoil hat under that cap. I don't think that Warren has a tinfoil cap.
No, there's nothing there to. I mean, there might be some tinfoil outside, set up like some sort of parabolic mics to channel the batshit insanity directly into his basement.
Yeah, it's a dish. It's not protective. It's a funnel.
Oh, special sympathy goes out to John, who had to try and
Cut that episode.
edit that episode, just all of that. It's just so funny.
Kudos to him, though. He did catch every fuck.
Did he get the cunt as well?
Yes.
Well done, him.
I didn't hear any swear words, which was highly disappointing. Regarding the length and also the dulling episode that is Miniature Wonderland.
Oh, Miniature Wonderland. Oh, it could be worse. He could have found a load more photographs on his wife's phone. Oh. No, that was just the back end hung up. I was out feeding the squirrels. It was due to go out at 5 o'clock like normal. Or then I had to attempt to go on the back end and kick it several times to get it to publish, which was quite interesting. Haven't watched it this trade yet. Oh, jam.
Somehow I had PTSD-like flashbacks to relatives bringing out the projector.
That's right. That's why at the end it was like, oh, should we take a look at my pictures from the Vasa Museum then?
And the total ignorance of them when you're showing that lovely ship.
Oh, beautiful ship. My particular favorite is when Warren gets in the zone, he will talk about nothing for days/weeks. But the minute somebody else talks about something that they're keen on, he just spends all his time being incredibly bored. We need to have just like one of those cat toys or something that we could jangle. Maybe if I just take a pair of keys and do that, well, just to keep him amused, so he doesn't spend his time interrupting other people. It's very good. Lloyd's punching as well. Yep. Yep. Right. Shall we? Is it better or worse than Lloyd and his Balearics?
The Balearics actually were fun. I followed that on Face page.
They're out and about in various places.
Yeah, especially the one where the kid is in the background and nearly snagged them.
Oh, yeah. Just trying to steal them.
Yeah. Mine! Well, shall we start with People's Project? Hello, Zorg. And everybody else.
Let's do that.
This is going to be a space wreck.
Da, da, da.
Only
Da, da, da.
one pin man. Space Saga. Oh.
Yep. Space 2021. Not to be confused with C-Lab 2021, which is different. Although if you are looking for me, that's where you'll find me, under the sea.
I like to be out of the sea.
This
An
is
octopus garden with me.
an old project, and while it's not listed as complete,
It seems like it is.
it's not so far away from being complete. I can't imagine there's much more to paint in there, and I can't remember if we've ever looked at this. I have.
No, I
Because
think that we
I have
haven't.
Star Saga.
I don't think
but
we
there's
have.
a lot of interesting bits and bobs in here, especially when it comes to the weird aliens and other gribbly bits, because you get nice little montages of the art concept or Star Saga-ish artwork from the Kickstarter thing, and then the painted miniature alongside it, so you can see where the inspiration has come from. Turton! Teleporting space fucking tortoises. What a bunch of bastards.
Oh, look, he's got an exhaust at the back of his head.
He does, but ignore him because he's a monk. They're all mental. But yeah, a really nice project from Early One Pin Man, or OPM as he likes to be called. I have no idea if he likes to be called that. But it's just because he's pretty much painted, I think, all of it. So you've got your bosses, you've got your various dungers, because Star Saga, if you're unaware, is Mantic's space dungeon crawler. So you spend your time going through various spaceships and black labs, stealing research or trying to avoid being eaten by gribbly monsters or massive alpha simian space apes. Fucking space apes! Look at them. Huh?
They look a bit intimidating.
Heaven is a half pike, that type of thing. Oh, I'm gonna have that stuck in my head now. But yeah, space apes are, well, I mean, it's not the most intimidating. Space Ape that Mantic have released. There's one that's about twice that size for Dreadball. But it's a really nice set of figures in there. And I've been doing some random sci-fi stuff of late, searching for inspiration, then stumbled across this. It was like, huh, I remember you.
Imagine doing a dance routine for these four.
I mean, they're not the worst. They've got 4 arms. They're very good at hand gestures. There are Doug-like, not Doug the Fug, but Doug as in the Star Wars Episode 1 type thing. Creatures. There's one. There it is. Walks on its hands, fights with its tiny little legs, which also have opposable thumbs. So, I mean, do a dance routine for those bastards. Coming at you like Cleopatra. You know all about that.
There are definitely some very interesting sculpts in this.
I really want to see Mantic get back and do. I think the Rebs are coming for Dead Zone, hashtag Dead Zone is life, this year. And the Rebs are great because it's just a whole Galvy bucket of aliens, people thrown together. I suppose technically the people are aliens to the aliens. So it's just a whole Galvy bucket of aliens thrown together as they try and brown coat their way out of the galactic prosperity sphere. You know, they've got annoyed with Coca-Cola running everything, and they want to leave. But once you're in, you're never out from the mega core. So
I don't know why, but this somehow suggests to me YMCA.
you do.
This is the YMCA.
But yeah, there's some absolutely. Obviously, Star Saga has a lot of really interesting looking aliens and weird shit. There's the Piper with his little rat dudes. Hector Sanchez. I'm not sure where he's come from because I don't think he's a Star Saga figure. Although he
looks
might
like
be
a handcrafted vermin from Warhammer.
Oh, the Piper.
Yeah.
I know the Piper's grand. Don't worry about the Piper. Hector Sanchez is exciting and different and new. I'm not saying the one doesn't exist because it would require me to actually open a lot of my boxes to find out. Yes, because there's
a former
artwork for
Dreadball Extreme player.
Well, he would be. Mantic were selling that for like a tenner recently. It's a really good game for a tenner. It's a fucking bargain. Just throwing that one out there in case people have missed that.
Especially with so many miniatures in it. I'm guessing there will be some in the core box.
Dreadball Extreme is the street version of their sci-fi Blood Bowl type sports game. So it's got 2 teams, 2 managers, and then like 8 alien MVP ringer type players that you can sort of sub in, plus bits and pieces to scatter around the mat. Look, there's one of the big Gribbly Goliath things. I've got a set of those. I should fucking paint them for something. I could paint them for Dead Zone and set them on pull. You wouldn't expect that. You're not watching all your pull.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition and this.
Like street countdown, exactly. Well, you've got 30 seconds to come up with a word of at least 7 letters. You get kneecapped.
How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
I think it would be tell Ronnie to get Star Saga back out. I would love to tell Ronnie to get Star Saga back out. I think if Dungeon Saga Origins does well, they may revisit Star Saga in some way. I quite like Star Saga as is, but you know what people are like? Oh, the board game plastics are board game plastics. Why are they not all high quality, high density?
People are the worst.
Yeah.
Why are people like this? I mean, these look nice. These look decent. And
look at it coming at you out of the dark to chew your nuts. Let's nibble on that nut.
I could even forgive the gnarling mold line on his feet because it's so shiny.
It's so shiny.
So pretty and shiny.
It's so fluffy, I might die.
It's so fluffy.
But yeah,
Oh, I would need to grip my. Hold on. He's so fluffy.
easy tiger. Oh, okay. Thank God for that. I was worried for a moment he might be gripping something else.
That's fluffy too.
But yeah, if you just want to see a rake of, I say a rake, if you want to see pretty much every Mantic alien race, I think you'll find them in this project. I don't think there's anything that's missing. Maybe not all on page 1.
There is something missing to make this complete.
Yeah.
A
What's that?
battle report.
Battle report.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think a battle report is a Mantic alien race.
Well, but that would make the project complete.
That would make the project complete, yeah. Maybe that's why he hasn't completed it yet. Maybe we're going to get a whole bat rep from start to finish of the campaign for Star Saga.
Yeah.
I should dig Star Saga and make Paul play it.
That would be a very good idea, indeed. Hello, Hazy Boy. Welcome to the madness that is stream featuring juices.
Juices. Like a Russian meat cube.
Buckfast should be a Mantic alien race.
Buckfast. There was a Buckfast beer that I almost bought when I was buying my beers today for the show, but I didn't. I didn't pick up the Bucky. So, anyway.
Where does our journey take us now?
Sweden.
Oh, okay. That's grand.
Our way.
Pigs in space. Chicken.
Chicken.
We have been here. So this is just basically an update.
Yeah.
But boy, what an update it is.
That's why we needed to be here, because I don't think we'd looked at it since it was completed.
The
last time we looked
was 21 was the last time we were here.
it was I've just done the insides, blah blah blah, and now it's like it's all done. It's dusted. Why did we never return? Because people put too many projects online. That's why we never returned. So I returned now. Fuck yous.
We are spoiled for choice.
Apparently so. So you can just take some long, lingering shots of that completely painted thing. I love with the space trucker-like stuff up the side, including the Volvo symbol up the front of the deck as well.
Yeah.
Which probably says something under it, but it's too far away for me to see. Oh, if I scroll in. It's made it even worse.
Navy
what's under
assets.
Volvo. Anyway. Yeah, some lovely panel lining. It goes through step by step earlier in the project, doing the panel lining, doing the whiteout on it, and then going back in to touch things up afterwards and stuff. So it's just really effective. It looks cracking. I mean, not so much that I would ever buy a 3D printer, but I'd certainly appreciate somebody else doing it.
I think he went out of his way to let us not see the print lines on this one.
I know. I mean, there's plenty of print lines there if you get up close.
Yeah, but they're not as appalling as sometimes they are. I mean, there's details in this that I find more hilarious. The Volvo badge on both sides, that the engines are Rolls-Royce engines, like in year-old fighting planes. The international emergency number.
Of Jove in your mirror. Could be of Jove. But down find out what it says. There's little text just below the Volvo badge.
Potentially something very rude.
It is the USS. I keep wanting to read that as Tangier, but I know it's not.
Is it not?
No, it might actually be Tangier.
I think it's Tangier.
Yeah. But yeah, the Nova Bangkok.
Novi Bangkok.
It's, Makes sense. Why would it not be? You're about to, I think, after that, you'll hit the point where they start doing the panel lining and stuff. So, yeah, it was just a little. I don't even know why this one cropped up for me. I honestly can't remember what I was doing so far in the project system. I may have been looking for something I'd seen once, which led me into, you start hitting the pages like 60 and 70, and you're going, why am I here?
Launched by Volvo Space Dog something.
Fantastic. Well done, you. Saves me annoying happiness and asking.
That's a level of detail I'm not going to go to.
Yeah, you say that, but why not?
Because I'm lazy. A lazy old kid.
You fucker.
Also, my glass is empty. My bottle is not.
No!
Huzza.
No, put it down. Move away from the Hitler juice.
Nope.
God. Oh my God. In fact, he's done the interior. That's quite
Respect my authority.
Respect my authority. Make you eat your parents. What?
How do they taste, these tears?
Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness.
So sweet.
Anyway, so yeah. So that was just a nice little thing from Shingen.
Yeah.
That he snuck out while nobody was looking.
Especially,
that's right.
I think it's because it's on the New Year's Eve that he put it in there that nobody.
I think that's probably it. Yeah.
It just went bang.
Just dropped out of sub-light speed. Boom. There it was. Don't touch it. It'll crash. Oh my God. Anyway. So yeah.
So where do we go now?
Press the buttons.
Buttons?
Buttons.
Buttons.
As it is the day of unchecked colonial aggression.
Happy 4th, as I said before. This is by someone called Aya 007.
My ears.
Aya.
That's very peculiar. Did you what? Did I just hear you come out of your own speakers?
No, can't be because my speakers are not on.
Oh my God. That was very peculiar. Right, okay.
Yes, let's crack on.
Slightly old project.
A wee bit.
Not to say they won't suddenly come back when people are
it's
looking.
still active and he's still paying his subscription, so
that means nothing. He could be one of those dead people that you read about, they're being eaten by their cats and have turned into jerky on their living room couch.
That's not a nice thought, but maybe preferable to be put into a meat cube.
Anything's preferable to being put in a meat cube. But it is a quick breakdown of what's going into the planned, and presumably by this stage finished, American War of Independence.
Let's not go finished. Maybe assembled and some painted.
Oh no, let's say finished. He is breaking out the Woodland engines, and I was looking recently at I think North Star have some quite nice engines because I want the set for Dead Man's Hand. And finding nice engines is not the easiest. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to find them.
Are they not as much made, or are they just poorly made?
Both. They're not compared to cowboys and other things of that ilk. There's not a massive amount of them kicking around.
Mm-hmm.
There are the old. Yep. Yeah. Wargames Factory. Warlord bought all the old molds for Wargames Factory from whoever in China had taken them all when Wargames Factory went under, or before they went under. they're Chinese. It's difficult to say what way around that one went. Yeah, no, Black's. I want a consistent but nice set of minis in the engine neck of the woods. At one point, I was thinking Mythic America, and then discovered that while they might be large 28 or possibly 32, none of them will fit on a 20mm base. They won't even fit on a 25mm base. They've got a stance so wide they'd be difficult to fit on a fucking 40mm or a 50mm cavalry base. They're huge.
They're all riding pigs.
It feels that way.
Yeah, so this is not much of a very detailed project, other than here's what I'm planning, and then it falls flat on his face. But maybe now that we have nagged him a bit, he comes
somebody will
back.
discover that he's dead on his couch.
Worst case, he realizes, oh shit, I'm still paying on tabletop monthly allowance. I need to stop that.
It's probably the same state as me, where it's not going to happen. Can't work out how to do it. Can't be arsed.
Denzian is also on his American War of Thingamajig.
The American War of Thingamajig, indeed. So this is, as you might expect from Denzian, slightly more robust, bit bigger,
a wee bit more comprehensive, only by a minor fraction.
Warlord has metal conquest figures. I was looking at the Warlord ones. I wasn't overly fast on them. I think possibly the problem I have is I'm not sure if I want Apaches or Plains Indians, sort of dirty Comanches. Which probably doesn't help right off the bat. So maybe I just get two, get a set of Comanches and get a set of Apache.
And then let them fight.
Let them fight. Time will tell. But yeah, Denzian's colonial army. I think he may have got a button for this. I can't remember. Everything blurs after a while. It's all very blurry. But I do remember there being some interesting little nuggets within the project, including things like the slaves who were armed by the British governor. And essentially it was like, fight for us, and if we don't get overrun by the Americans, we'll make you free. And then they lost. And everything went very well for all the blacks in America to this day after that. It's all been peaches and cream for them.
That's a very dark way of thinking.
I mean, I'm not saying that's why, but I'm just saying it possibly didn't help their cause to be on the losing side against a new nation. Very too nice engines, do they? I'll have to have a sit down. The nicest ones I've seen so far are the North Star ones. I was quite looking forward to the Savage Frontier Canadian engines. And then that all went sideways with Tim and Andy. I don't even know if people are getting them, if they backed that Kickstarter outside of America. So I was like, well, guess we'll be doing that then. North Star ones are gorgeous.
That is very impressive MDF kit. Holy smokes.
Yeah, and he hasn't done a huge amount to up detail it. Just little things like replacing the MDF pillars with just plastic tubing to get a nice sort of colonnade pillar, which is also much faster than putting those 8 sections of fucking pillar together.
Are those individually paneled that you need to fold them up and...
Well, you don't need to fold them up, but you make a cross, and then you make a cross section through that cross, and then if you're really unlucky, it has lots of little ones that stack to make all the pillar to make your little sort of Corinth pillar. And they look great, but I made one. You've done them on your temple, Pete, haven't you? I did one, and I went, I don't want to do another 8 of these on this temple. I'm just going to leave this temple in this corner right here, and someday Lloyd will build that. But
I
now,
was just going to say, make Lloyd build it.
but now I'm looking at, I'm going, oh, I just replaced them all with plastic tubing. I've got loads of it. It's great.
I love the way he's setting the pictures up.
Yeah, he's like that young Denzi. He does like a little narrative in his photos, even when he's not playing a game, and when he is playing a game, so much the better.
The completed Crown Forces.
With the vote after American independence, was it only rich white men? I think it was. I think it was one of these. If you don't own enough, we don't want to listen to you. It's like the vote anywhere. You don't want to waste it by giving it to people who are insane, the wrong color, the wrong religion, or the wrong sex, or poor. It's better if we just have all the votes ourselves. It's very Blackadder in that regard.
One good thing, they took a book out of his writing. A page out of his writing.
Look at that. Look at them. Sweet.
So many stuff.
Coming home today on the train and bumped into regular from my bar. We were chatting, and then he went, "Have you ever talked to Harry?" And Harry's another older man. Harry must be in his 80s. I was like, "No." Well, yes, but not really. And Harry collects Napoleonic figures. I went, "Really?" so I went down to the bar. Just as I was arriving at the bar, Harry was walking in from across the road. It's like, this is fantastic timing. I'll have a pint. Harry, tell me about your Napoleonics.
And then he lit up. You know about Napoleonics?
Oh, no, Harry is a lovely gentleman. Knows quite a lot about a vast majority of conflicts. So we spent some time talking around the balls about that. He's got big 54mm stuff, but he paints them himself.
It feels almost like in the English-speaking region of Ireland and Britain, it's a very widespread hobby, this miniature wargaming stuff.
Yeah, no, there's still only like 7 of us in the country. But it's a very small country. So if you're ever botching into them, it's just how these things go.
Have you convinced John to do some naps yet?
I mean, there was he was saying the other week he was toying with the idea of maybe after he's finished his current project.
His mouse?
But that was before. Well, his mouse failed again this morning after having printed, let me get this right, 75% of the lower hull, taking 600 grams or over 600 grams of a 1 kilo wheel of filament. Thank you. I'm trying to remember what it was called, which meant that all just goes in the bin because it's completely fucked and you can't use it for anything. I was going, this is just great. It's just like throwing money in the bin. And people wonder why I just buy models from somebody who makes models. It's because I don't want to just throw money in a bin on a fucking daily basis. That's why. Shall I bring the Prussians over? Oh, you should do, Jab. Weirdly, I took out my phone and found your project. I was just sitting and flicking through it with Harry at the bar. I was going, oh, you used a lot of black paint for that. Yes, he fucking did. Look at that. Bad report.
Black paint all over.
Oh, the black uniforms left, right, and centre. Only thing could have been worse is if it was Austrians. Have you done an Austrian versus Prussian game yet? Because it would just be white versus black. It's very negative based. Anyway, but yeah, Denzian's Redcoats and Rebels. There's a lot going on there. It's quite cute.
So I think I've selected a few more of these kinds. So who's next on our temple?
This is Glen 92. Now, if memory serves, Glen 92 is one of the 7. Because he bounces into the club at OTT on occasion, and about 2 weeks ago they ran, possibly not even 2 weeks, might have been last week, the Causeway Giants had a massive black powder game of American Civil War, about 18 foot long table. Was that it?
18 foot?
Leshen? I don't know. Let me see if I can. I'll see if I can find a picture. Causeway Giants. This is where it tells me it's a private group and go fuck yourselves. Now, obviously, these are ACW, not American War of Independence. But, there we go. There's one. Does that, how do I was going to drag that window across and then realize that's not how I do things. That's not how anything works.
You could try.
That's what that does. What? Look, there's
one.
There's Michael on the right there, who can't remember a rule from the start of a turn to the end of a turn. God bless him. He's the one scratching his neck.
I'm already feeling connected to him. So it's just the same with me. Having to look up the same rule within a turn twice or 3 times is not out of the ordinary for me.
No, why would it be?
That's a very elongated desk. Jeepers.
Yep. I mean, that's how the magic happens right there. I'm trying to see if I can actually find Glenn in any of these things, but Glenn may be behind the camera. Oh, nope. Hang on a minute. There you go. So the next one is just a close up on some of the things that what you've seen in that project. And then the last one, the person responsible is wearing the pink t-shirt. That's Glenn. That's the guy who's done this project. If you ever see him out and about, feel free to just stop him down the street.
Jerry told me to stop you. Why?
No,
he didn't say. He just said to stop you.
Just stop him and just go, I know you. I know. I've seen your face. I know you.
Jerry sends his regards.
That's true.
That's a creative use for using old phone shells.
Yep. It's like that time I used my Kindle as a wet palette mixing tray type thing.
Please tell me it was broken by the time you used it as a wet palette.
I only bought it so I could read my mate's book, and then about a year later they published it in an actual physical format, so I didn't have to have an electrical thing anymore. So the only thing I ever had on the Kindle was that. So it's got a very smooth surface. It's very good for mixing.
Only real men who like penis wear pink.
Darn it. That's why the SS Panzer divisions all had pink trim. It wasn't just the SS, actually. It was all the German tank divisions in World War II. All lent heavily on the pink.
All sweet boys because of chocolate.
That's true. Once the amphetamine kicks in. Anyway, yeah. He's talented bastard. Now, I've had a copy of the Walking Dead rules for him for 3 years.
Now the game is dead.
No, it was even before it went away.
Okay.
And then last week I was up for RPG Day. Or the week before I was up for RPG Day, and I happened to walk in to talk to Che about something and look down, and there it was, still in the building. I thought he collected this months ago, and this was after it had been sitting for a year after he'd not picked it up, and then one day just out of nowhere went, are the rules about? It's like, I thought you fucking got them in 2020, mate. So I'm just going to say, so Glenn, he might be a great bloke. He does lots of really nice stuff there, but he is absolutely pants at remembering to come in and pick things up. So there you go.
It could be worse. He could be one of those annoying persons that ask every 5 minutes, is my stuff there yet?
Yeah. Well, he could be, but he isn't. Because clearly, like Michael, he channels his inner Michael and can't remember things. Anywho.
Next one is again something American by Bob Cocaine.
Bob. It's the long version of Kate. And
he's starting off by apologizing for the lack of better reports, which is a good thing to do.
It's as well he did that. Weirdly, I was going to put another Bob project in here, but then I seen this one, so I took it out again. So that'll have to wait. You'll have to try and imagine what that was in the meantime. But yeah, Bob doing the Lord's own work via the medium of Callistra Hex.
I just hate him for having this nice terrain.
I really want it. I want it so much.
I want to be able to afford that thing in the first place. This is just, I think this is peak modular terrain in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's so much. I mean, the fact that it's hex means if you want to play games like To the Strongest or Age of Panda or some of those other ones that are require no movement measuring, they just move to adjacent areas. Fucking hexes. Hexes.
Yeah, you just
oh my
go
God.
there, do that.
Do it. It's so nice. It's so good. Anyway, so in this case, the Confederacy are about to go across the bridge that killed that couple in Beetlejuice. Pretty sure that's what's happening.
There's a reference.
Of course, well, look at it. It's a little covered bridge with
Yeah,
a
I
shingly
guess
roof
you're right.
going over a river. There can't be more than one of those in America.
Why would
Beetlejuice had
there?
it, therefore this must be a homage to Beetlejuice. Because it's so too weird otherwise.
The logic is flawless.
Fucking flawless victory, mate. Absolute flawless victory. But yeah. So, wow, where was I? Yes. I got distracted by the Callistra hex map again. As is Bob's want, apart from being a really nice setup table, you get a really nice explanation of what's actually happening. So, and also Bob has his own unique take on things. So Warren's run instead
out
of
of
Bill's
scale,
run.
but
Oh no, that's because if you're at the other side, then the train looks really close, and all the village and stuff, just being the distance is small. You're just looking at it from the wrong side.
oh, well, that's probably. But
It's all forced perspective.
don't show this to Lloyd. I guess that would get him riled up.
I believe on the other side is his Wild West Exodus board, which he's also used for not Dead Man's Hand, but another Wild West game. I think he might have used it for Fistful of Lead.
And also a box of Conquest. Way in the background.
If they come from Callistra, then Dave's right. They'll be Callistra's 12 mil, substantially smaller. Further down, there are some of the new, I say new, it's probably a couple of years old now, the Warlord plastic stuff. So that, if he's using those, they mix with Callistra really nicely. So I think that's probably where they are. So theoretically 12, but more like 10 to 12 to 13 and a half, depending on how you're feeling and how you measure things.
Well, he's doing a comparison.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Callistra stuff there. There's those fuckers with that ball back again. Go and play on the train tracks, you pricks. Yes, always quote me. I imagine the one in Sleepy Hollow was the same one. Because that's American War of Independence. Because wasn't it a Hessian that killed up near there? And then we're seeing it now in American Civil War. So that's a mere 80 years later. And then Beetlejuice 8 years after that. It's like every 80 years it appears and harvests souls. That is one evil bridge. Now I think about it.
Maybe it's not Beetlejuice who's the problem, but the bridge.
Yeah.
It's possessed. Gateway to the underworld.
Now I think about it, it must be that. Absolutely must be. I must talk to Shay
about
ordering a load of 6mm stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought about building a bridge.
No, for American Civil War. No, it's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's no River Kwai here. Don't need to build a bridge. Yeah, because every now and again we think about it, and it's like, we should do this. And Shay's just been putting off. Now, to be fair, I have forced him to buy some Dead Man's Hand stuff recently, so we'll be playing that in a couple of weeks. That's probably going to put a slight impediment in the getting the 6mm ACW up and running.
I'm a bit worried that Shay might pick up this weird, not epic 30k Webstar stuff.
Oh no, it'll be fine. It'll be grand. It'll be okay. He's on holidays this week though because it's his birthday today. I think he's a teenager now.
Is he allowed to drink by now?
He's like 13. That's how it works. He's a big boy now. Yay!
When he comes back to office, you need him to give some of these paper party hats.
Oh, that's great. I think I've still got a Christmas cracker downstairs that I didn't.
It's actually a shame McDonald's doesn't do children's birthdays anymore like they used to. That would be hilarious.
That's true.
Let me buy you dinner. We're going to McDonald's. Here's your kids' menu. Have fun.
Here's your Happy Meal, but you don't get to keep the toy. The toy's mine. You just eat the burger.
Also, you don't want to drink anything but water. Welcome, Taros.
Anyway, so yes.
Let's stumble into the next mess.
Messy.
More rebels.
Hedge and Gary back with the damn colonials.
Again, a project that has been dormant for some time.
Well, you know, nothing says finish me like peer pressure.
Yes. And I mean, what do they expect?
Look, we were just talking about the Hessian, played by everybody's favorite dancer, Christopher Walken, and there they are, Hessian Jaegers.
Yeah, maybe he's part of this group. Who knows? I
imagine he's probably the one with the stripy pants.
Very stripy.
Pants. Again, another fine example of the model maker's art, or War Games Factory's miniatures. I don't know if, I mean, obviously it filled a lot of holes in Warlord Games' range by buying those molds, but I don't know if they did themselves any. I've stabbed myself with a fucking massive Greek god. Ow. I don't know if it did them any favors by buying them, to be brutally honest, because a lot of people look at them and go, why?
Because we don't have to retool them? Cheaper than making our own?
Well, that was it. It was somebody had already done the design work and the tooling. You know, I don't know what they paid for them. I'm fairly certain it wasn't whatever the full price of a mold would have been. They're not the worst, to be fair. I have a sprue of those somewhere that I got with War Games Illustrated. Yeah, on the pair, 100%. The Perrys are better. Plus the fact that Warlord bought, because there was those, the Samurai, the Undead. I think there were plastic engines, actually. Now I'm thinking about it as well. There were a couple of others. War Games Factory were very piecemeal. They didn't do a range of anything. They just did like one-off boxes. So, but anyway, that aside, the fact that other people have done things better than War Games Factory is apparent by the fact that the company is no longer here. However, he has done a really nice job in painting them up. Look at those. Hello.
I think what irritates me a bit, the posture and the posing these minis are, they look more like articulated dolls than sculpted miniatures.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. And they were also fiddly bastards as well, if memory serves. There was an awful lot of empty hands where you had to fit the guns into them type of thing, and it just nobody wants that. But there's some really nice examples of not just the uniform painting but also uniform color schemes in here as well, which is good if people are doing anything in that period, mid to late 1700s. So it's quite good if that's your thing. Everybody likes turnbacks and facings.
That's a pretty sizable box, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they went through this weird period where the gators were all sorts of fucking random colors before they. Was it 1748? There was a year around that neck of the woods where the British Army regimented the regiments, because prior to that it was still very much, you paid for the regiment, you've paid for your uniforms, you get to make them whatever way you want. Huzzah! There's a lot of baronets and knights and so blah blah blah. Just kidding people out in Hereford if they could be arsed. My wife's got green curtains, so we went with red, so we don't clash. That type of thing.
Hello, Shingen. Yes, we stumbled across your project for some odd reason. Can't remember why.
I have no idea why I looked at your project last week, but I looked at your project last week. It's like we haven't looked at the completed project, so we did so now. Can't stop us. We've already looked at it.
Yeah, and we will look at stuff again.
Yes, we're like that.
I think there's one more or at least one more for this kind of theme we're going to.
We were very impressed by the Volvo badges on the side. We were trying to work out what it said below the Volvo thing. It was very, very small. Tim found it, I think.
Launched by Volvo company, something.
Yeah. You can't hurt me, I'm a Volvo, it screamed, I think. And then it crashed into a tank just to prove it.
And the tank got scared.
So speaking of 6-bill,
ACW.
I should show this to Shay. Good luck. He started 6-mil. Well, never
Tiny.
returned to it. Never returned. However, it is Bacchus, which is, I think, where we're going to go. He said in a high questioning voice once again.
Why does this look like those are on a biscuit wafer?
Because it's a delightful, tasty thing.
I want an edible war game.
Waffles.
Waffles as bases and little chocolate miniatures on top.
Oh, that works too.
And then everything you lose, your opponent gets to eat. So if I were to play Jerry here, my forces would be made out of licorice.
Licorice. Licorice. Now, not only is he playing this in 6-mil, which is what we're aiming for, but he's also using the system that we're planning to use, Altar of Freedom, which is currently behind me. Somewhere anyway. It's in this room.
Look at this lovely metal.
Yeah, I mean, you just pick up a big bag of metal from Bacchus for fuck all square. It's great. Waffly versatile.
How tiny they are.
How
the fuck are you painting those?
With a brush.
Oh, okay.
Glad you asked. Thank you. As anybody will tell you, it's piss simple. You just block the colours in where they're supposed to go, and then chuck a wash over it and walk the fuck away.
But what about the buttons?
I'd go and stand in the street and look at somebody 150 to 200 meters away and see how many buttons you can count on their clothes. Because I think that would be possibly the equivalent of distance.
Do tartan on them, says James Scott.
Jam, 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 jam.
Let me think about that. I'll have another sip of
How about fuck no, you crazy Dutch bastard? Is that what you're screaming? A spaceship with only right angles. I really like the stuff that Ben does over at Second Dynasty. Did an interview with him a few years ago now for one of their Kickstarters, and he sent across a video, like the promotional video that was going to be on the Kickstarter, but it was the raw footage.
Oh.
And in the background, there was the guy who was wandering about, who was setting up the shots and all. And before we started filming, he was like, "Was that Hannes behind you?" I was like, "Yes." Going, "Holy fuck!" And it turns it's a random Swede that I know. I was like, "Yeah, he's in the office next door." I was like, "All right, okay, great."
The world is a small place at times.
Yeah, fucking frighteningly small. Anyway, so there you go.
So after this short project, but
six mil. I mean, it's only a matter of time. Here's the thing, though, right? Here's the thing. Hear me out, chap. So, Altar of Freedom, your little base regiments, companies, whatever you want to call them, They can be whatever size you want. It doesn't matter. So you take your base, you've got your little tiny men on them, and then in your scenario, you're going, okay, well, this is a specific regiment or battalion or company or depending on what it is, and they change all the time. So they suggest that you the scenarios will tell you what the order of battle was for that particular engagement, and the same regiment might be really good in one and really shit in another scenario, because in different points of the war they would have different amounts of men they could lose and not receive any reinforcements, or they could just have demoralization because they've got a shit officer in charge. So you're never quite sure. So they have multi-uses. The thing is, they just go, take a bit of paper. He said, looking for a bit of paper. You'll be my bit of paper. Write on it who it is for the particular game, and then you tuck it behind the base. So when you're playing, you can see at the back who it is. You can go Montgomery's 5th, and your opponent doesn't know. All he knows is it's coming towards him. He doesn't know the strength and disposition till it arrives. So I'm thinking, does anybody have a clever thing that you could have on the back of a base that you could just slot things into? Is there anything that's already out there? Because I was thinking about getting plastic card and doing a little L-shaped type, something I could slide paper into, so I'm not having to just tuck little paper notes under bases every time we play. If there was actually just a little plastic reel I could slide in and slide stuff out of. So that's your job in the comments to
what
find
about
me that.
Paper clips? Just glue a paper clip on the back.
Could you imagine how bad that would look?
No worse
paper
than
clip
this.
on the back. No. There must be, like when you go into a supermarket and they've got the little plastic strips that they can pull out and put the price tags in behind. There must be something like that I could have just for a 40mm square base. Must be. And if not, then I should. I don't know why I'm looking down there, because I know there's none in front of me. Because if there was some in front, I wouldn't be looking for them. But there must be little things that I can just stick them in.
If the base wasn't so thin, I'd say just cut a groove into it to make your cardboard stick in there. But
I mean, if push comes to shove, I will. If push comes to shove, I just use an L-shaped piece of polystyrene from Evergreen or Plascraft or something. But I want little plastic foldery type thing. That's what it would look like if it was moving in or out, but the rest of the time would just be holding the paper inside it.
It shouldn't be too hot. I think I'll have a think about that. I'll get back to you. My people will contact you, people.
Well, okay.
In the meantime,
I should wait.
Shall we look at other
Oh,
people's
I just have
problems?
3% chance of tears. Oh! That almost went all over my nice mouse mat. I don't want it to go over my nice mouse mat because it tells me about card sizes for deck protectors. What are we doing?
Projects.
Projects.
I lost my browser. There's my browser.
It's not there.
Got 'em.
Yep, it's there.
Kings of War.
Yes! Fucking awesome. So, Goram has had a bit of a hobby hiatus, it's fair to say, of late. Didn't get anywhere in Spring Clean Challenge because the black dog reared its ugly head. Actually had a project for the Spring Clean Challenge that went private. I know, I've been in there, I've touched it. But
this should make me feel more uncomfortable, but it doesn't.
hopefully this is on the up curve, because I know, having on occasion suffered from depression myself for the last 20 odd years, if not more. You go through these, I can't be arsed, and then you go, I can fucking do everything. And the trick is to try and get stuff done during that I can do everything phase before the crash happens again. So obviously with massive piles of stuff everywhere to be worked on, the best thing to do was to order a fuckload of Gigs of War Night Stalkers to do a completely new army. I'm on board with all of this.
Oh, they look spooky.
Oh, they are spoopy, very spoopy. So, 2 Night Stalker armies, just the standard, not the mega. The Night Stalker Reaper's troops, good. I will say for future reference, though, you're probably better buying the ambush sets because it has a regiment of Reapers and a horde of butchers for like £8 more than just buying one regiment by itself. So anyway, that aside, there's been some fantabulistic work done already right off the bat. Basing top notch. I particularly like the weird, creepy electricity light on the floor. I'll tell you about my idea for Night Stalkers in a minute. What were you saying?
This looks like somewhere some Halloween project just got alive and ran off.
Yes, very much so. They are, after all, scarecrows. Oh, that was the last of the cheap stuff. I got a couple of bottles of a couple of boxes of the dogs. There's one. Gone again now. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had no intention of buying anything. I think that's most of the time true for most of us.
Yeah, I'm glad nobody told me that the sale was on Mantic's website. It was so cheap, though. They were going, we've got new resin dogs, so here's the old set of 10 dogs for half price. I'm going, right, well then, I'll just take 2 of those then. That gives me twice the number of dogs. Zoom Zoom Pups, by the way, that is their official title. Zoom Zoom Pups.
How can you say nobody told you? You were talking about that on the weekend, or wasn't you?
Fuck yourself. Anyway, so there has been some outstanding work done. I was going to call them spectres, but they're no longer spectres. They're doppelgangers. Have all been done in creepy green. Creepy. Meanwhile, the scarecrow types with their big pumpkin heads and stuff are the most vibrant of reds.
And for some odd reason, in the back of my head now, there's Michael Jackson's Thriller running.
Yep, don't know why. The green ones, because they used to be spectres. I don't know if you've seen the new list, Jill. The 2023 beta that's on the companion. It will be coming in hot in the Clash of Kings update this Christmas. You didn't know until okay, right. So the spectres have gone. Obviously the list is still there. You can still use it. It hasn't gone away, But doppelgangers. So obviously they've dropped the spectres out and they've replaced them, or the models are now referred to as doppelgangers because doppelgangers didn't have models. Doppelgangers are fucking filth. Absolute filth. Just go, they're doppelgangers. I don't care. Oh my god. Oh, you just walk up to any other unit and you can choose whether to use your own shit stat line or use your opponent's stat line. You go, I'm a doppelganger. I'd like to. I mean, if you walk up to some sort of demoralized unit of shit undead or maybe rat slaves or something, you go, I'll use my own. Thank you very much. Or I don't want to be kicked to death by fucking halflings. I'll use my own. But otherwise, you walk up to ogre shield breakers and go, crush 2, melee 3 up, 18 attacks. Yeah, I'll just have that, please. Thanks. And then just go bam, 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 bam. And they go, right, they're dead now.
That doesn't really sound fair.
That's fucking amazing. Oh my god. Oh. Anyway.
Do you need a minute for yourself?
Doppelgangers. I had a plan. Oh, I'll tell you this, Joe. I had a plan at one stage for my doppelgangers. I was just going to get loads and loads of mimics for my bases. They're just like cover a base and mimics, so like tables and chairs and jars and also, beds, cupboards. Just do that, and those would be my doppelganger regiments. And I still might, because nobody can stop me. That's the great thing about King's War. Um,
It
but
sounds
Lena,
like a
I
movie
was telling
come
it
to
to Lena
life.
today. Yeah, it's great. And Lena has painted her Night Stalker army, so she started Kings of War 3 editions and 12 years after me, and has an army painted before me. I'm not that better. And she stole my idea for the doppelgangers. But her mimic regiments of doppelgangers look fucking ace. Anyway, so yes. So, yes, Kings of War. It's fucking awesome. And that's a really nice project. I'm really looking forward to seeing Sims and Pups, how that goes when it's all in. I even
Yeah.
like the little dotted head tentacles on the butchers. Butchers, they're filth in and of themselves. They're just filth.
Remind me, how was the saying going? Perfection is the enemy of completion.
So, perfection is the enemy of, or go fuck yourself. It's the enemy of good.
Yeah. So getting stuff
Yeah.
done is always better than thinking too
Sure.
much about it.
Yeah.
Welcome, Philip.
Yeah.
How was your stream? Hope you had a lot of fun playing with your video game toys. Done, not perfect was the theme for the whole project. Yeah, that's pretty much my take on most of my painting these days, because, well, there's more to life than being an anal about your miniatures.
I wasn't being anal. I'm just saying I haven't got around to finishing any of my stuff yet. There's nothing ill about that. It's just a lot going on. So anyway, my Night Stalker's right. You'll like this, Jill. Everybody else shall. So it's good because obviously they've done that new Northern Alliance Night Stalkers box, which is the first box they did was Night Stalkers versus Northern Alliance, which is where I got the idea from. So the idea was obviously Night Stalkers are all ethereal, creepy, dreams and nightmares manifested, and then they eat people's faces. So my idea was the Northern Alliance, all their snowy tundra bases, and all the snow churned into mud under their feet, where all the people have been walking across it. But then the Night Stalkers just make a load of snow bases that are absolutely fucking pristine. Like, as if they're, there's no footprints or any shit on them, as if they're not really there. It's just beautiful, perfect snowy snow.
And
then
somebody
the humans all sort of, mud and
and
shit.
somebody will come up to you and say, "Yeah, nice spacing, but why are there no tracks?"
Yeah, but then I'll just hit him with a hurl, because that's how that one goes. But I mean, it'll look really good when they're both side by side. In fact, for my Northern Alliance, I got these saber-toothed cats, which have been 3D printed by somebody. There was really good company who were like doing 3D printing of this guy who does 3D prints. Sorry, I was buffing all the mold line bits out with Wirewool. Unfortunately, they stopped doing it because it was too expensive, but they were really fucking cheap. So I got myself like 5 troops worth that I can use for my Northern Alliance as big instead of the snow wolves. So I'm just going to use big fuck off snowy saber-toothed lions instead. I say that they've been in this bag now for about 7 months, and I've broke a few of their teeth off them because 3D printing is shit. But yeah.
Brittle as fuck, as these people say.
It's very much key. Yep. Anyway.
If doppelganger meet doppelganger, do they cancel each other out and just explode?
No, they have a doppelganger stat line, and they can exchange it for their opponent's stat line, which is also a doppelganger. So, null.
In my head, that looks like the scene from Braveheart where the Irish charge the Scots, and then they just stop and shake hands and turn around.
That mad bastard going, "I told you it's my Ireland."
Well, who's next on our list to be?
Ooh. I tell you what, a 3% chance of tears is lovely. Blackberry, blueberry, goose with cacao. Cacao.
Caca!
Cacao. Kapla. Yep. Well, that zooms in pops for you. Thankfully, the rest are all PVC, which you can drop a brick on; it won't hurt them. So Horus hasn't gone away, you know.
Suck it up, samurai. Somehow I feel I've heard that term before somewhere. Can't remember where.
So these are I don't think they're Curse City. I think they were one of the wild forest. It's something GW. I don't know what they are. Ben would tell you. Anyway, there was like samurai undead living in a forest, licking each other. No,
Which is a weird
hello,
weird
Ewok.
thing.
Trick is to add stuff to your resin that gives it a bit of flex. The downside is 70 quid a ball. Yeah, fuck that. That's not happening. Anyway,
Ewok. Did you see you be there before?
that's because he wasn't, but he sneaks in like an Ewok, hungry for stormtrooper flesh. Tonight we eat man flesh.
I think there needs to be a gore and splatter movie just about tiny little Ewoks hunting a Imperial scout that broke down on his speeder bike somewhere in Endor.
They were going to eat all of the crew of the Falcon.
Yep, including R2-D2, which is a bit much, I think. I mean, I know.
Try.
Just add PVA glue. Yeah, that works on resin.
Sure. Why not? I'll start doing it on some of John's prints when he's not paying attention, just opening it up and squeezing PVA straight into the resin bath, and then putting the lid back down again. I didn't tell you about the here. Nick, you still there, Nick?
Now what?
Anyway, so the silver bayonet stuff that you've skipped over to get to more GW is very telling. I feel silver bayonet's quite nice. Frenchie's looking particularly French. There you go. Oh, yep. Ewok's got to eat. Nick is still there. So remember, it was hot as balls when we were doing the RPG day, and it was so hot when we came back from getting food. I plugged a fan in. So I unplugged the plug and the lights went out on the shelves, all the pretty colored lights that Warren likes. So I plugged that back in again and then unplugged the other one and nothing happened. So I grand and plugged the fan in there.
I feel I've got a bad feeling about where this is going, but please continue.
Turns out that was the one that ran to the extension cable that was plugged into the 3D printers at the back, and that turned off John's print that had been running for 12 or 13 hours overnight.
Ooh. Oh no.
The plus side was we had a fucking fan, and it cooled that room down dramatically, and I'm not sorry at all, because they were sitting in that little room watching YouTube and building their 40k box, like 40k knobs, and we were sweating our balls off, like a dozen or so people trying to play RPGs, and the sweat was lashing. So yeah, I have no regrets on that.
Also, that's what you get for not labeling your plugs and
very much so. Yeah. So if they hadn't been sitting in a room with their own fan while we all suffered outside, I might have felt slightly more remorse, but I don't really feel any of it at all.
That almost sounds like that urban myth that every sysadmin gets told at one point in his life, that there's an unknown exception to at one point in the week the servers go down and come up 10 minutes later, only to find out it's the cleaning lady who unplugs one server just to have power for a vacuum.
It's like the room of death in a hospital. There was I think it was an urban legend that with people in an intensive care ward, people were always dying in this one room in particular, and they didn't know why. And it was the cleaning lady. It was the only socket in the room, so she unplugged the machine to plug the Hoover in. I mean, it's hilarious. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's complete bullshit as well, but it's hilarious. Anyway.
Bullshit stories can be the most amusing ones of pod. It is a professional setup if you don't have an important thing run in a random extension that can get unplugged. Yeah,
100%.
Also,
the machine goes ping. That is it, Ewok. Ping,
The very expensive machine. What does it do? It goes ping.
ping. Oh, I see that, Dan. That was true.
Yeah, the R&D lab that go, and
Oh,
they
oh,
did.
the best part was everybody had been told about it, and there was a note on the door.
Yeah,
of the place
exactly. It was a big
going,
fucking note. Do
"This is
not unplug.
do not plug this. If the alarm is bothering you, this is what you need to do to mute the alarm." And he just looked at that, looked at it, went, I'm gonna pull the plug out.
Yeah,
Oh,
happy
oh,
times.
decades worth of research and millions of pounds down the Swanee. Hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, Horace has been doing some of that. Is it Wargrave? Is that what it's called? Warcry. There we go. Warcry scenery. That's where the Wood Elf people come from. They live in that scenery.
I once unplugged the company server who was subletting in our office because they used one of our sockets that I needed. Ooh.
Oh, well, yeah, that is true, Demon.
Are you paying for that electricity? No, then you get unplugged.
I think at that stage when Walter Peck arrives and wants something turned off, it's time to leave. But yeah, really nice set of terrain. I do like that terrain.
If it only were more affordable.
Yeah, obviously I don't like it enough that I would pay GW prices for it, but I would certainly consider making some of my own. Or actually, that could be interesting because thin styrene pipe, you could cut the ends to get the bamboo look to it, and then with a heat gun, you could roll it to get the concave sections in the bamboo. That might be doable.
Here's the birth of another Jerry can. Jerry can do bamboo bridges.
Yeah.
Though it looks almost like rigging, so maybe not.
Oh no, I wouldn't do any of that. As long as I made the bamboo, that'd be enough. Get some other plank to do the rigging. It was Paul. Paul said that he finally got around to watching the rigging video. I was going, ship looks quite nice. Oh, I might be able to do this. And then I hit the point where you started rigging. I was like, oh, I'm never fucking doing that.
GW scenery is so solid to be still around the 31st millennium. Wow. Oh, really? That's a terrible joke. You get out of here, man. No dad bod for you. I think we've got two more.
Two more.
Can I have some more, please?
1.5. Yeah.
Defenders of the Tavern. Dwarves.
Oh, Kings of War, you say? What?
Again.
Oh, with my reputation.
Also, a complete project we have been visiting before. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I don't know if we were ever here for the very end of it, which is why, because I like that. So.
Yep, we were. Everything is marked.
Because I hadn't buttoned my buttons on this one. However, if you chuck open some of the big pictures at the end, you can see the sheer insanity, especially the one from over the top, because the entire thing was set up as the interior of a bar. So that is
a bar.
I pull the Langton Miniatures rigging guidebook. Shocking. So all of the miniatures in there are actually inset bases for Kings of War. They lift out, or the bases pushed together to combine to make that, if you want to think of it that way. So that is natural army. That's not a diorama. Everything comes away, making the mastiff packs, the artillery pieces, the Brocks, the Rangers, the Bullwalkers, all of it. But when their powers combine, they become a full bar.
Well, it is a diorama at the same time as it is a display piece and an army.
I couldn't. Well, it's probably one of those ones where I've clicked the buttons and then I've pressed back on the keyboard and it's gone. Yeah, we're not logging that one. So, but it's a Beautiful paint job by Dwight, dead Dave Dwight, Dave, Davy
Davy died.
Davy died, sure. But also the fact he's used mostly Atlantis miniatures, or whatever they're called now, Blue Mountain Yeti, something like that. So the vast majority of models are resin ones, and then there's a small amount of GW and some avatars of war, plastic berserkers / troll slayers, if you want to think of them that way. So it's an eclectic mix of figures, but they all look really nice. I particularly like the fact that, you know, the riflemen are hiding behind chairs and tables,
I
whereas
think
other people are standing on said same thing.
I think the only way to improve that setup would be to make 3 walls,
Yes.
left, right, and the back, and have the front wall be like collapsed so that actually everybody is shooting out of the bar.
Going, yeah, who sucks to you, Fritzy?
Somebody opened the front door and now is greeted with ample amounts of various parts of metal.
Works for me. Works for me. There's the full army list is in there as well for people interested that way. However, it will be 2nd edition. 21. Yeah, I think it's 2nd edition. That being said, it will still work for 3rd. I should repoint it and see what it comes out at, then tell him, just in case he's not been paying attention. The pigs in the hair are quite nice as well.
Oh, Dan Lee, that's a horrible story. Sewage treatment work. Engine shut down. Pumping off stopped. Pumping in didn't.
Oh.
Whoopsie.
Mate to the life rafts. Swim, man, swim.
So on to the next and final and very wet project, I think.
Awesome project of awesomeness.
I don't know. I'm looking for lifeboats and rafts and can't find any of those.
So this is one that's been set up by the House of Water, #BestHouse. Because it's something I've been talking about on and off for years, and I've talked about it with Gaz and Mick and a few others about putting together a project
Reference.
that is used as a catalog / reference for various types of weather, terrain, and geographic non-sensory. And we can actually do it now through modern technology, multiple people. No longer would it be the case that somebody makes the project and everybody fucking emails them their photos, like we originally thought about way back in the day. Now multiple people can be roped in to put this together. So with that in, I've got 10 skill nominations. Presumably that's because people have just hit the buttons on this. So Jamascat and Orinoco have already been drafted. But yeah, the idea is just to slowly fill this out with stuff. Now, obviously, I've got lovely pictures of a reconstructed ship at a tank museum. They won't be going in here because they're not terrain. I'll probably just do a separate one for those. But my 150 plus pictures of squirrels may make it in here at some point. Squirrel. There's a lot. You have no idea how many squirrels there are. I will like to say Brayhouse Castle there in southern Sweden. If anybody has seen the Ninth Gate, the Johnny Depp film with Frank Langella, attempting to find the devil, Roman Polanski directed, there's a bit where there's this ruined castle in France and there's like a window and you see the light coming through it, and we were driving up the road from Copenhagen to Stockholm and I could just see that and silhouetted in the horizon. I'm just thinking, it's the Ninth Gate, we've got to stop there. So we did. So it was very nice. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
As is my want life. Oh, I can't give myself buttons.
Is there a limit on how many people can join into a project?
I have no idea, and I won't find out until the House of Water #BestHouse all get on board with this and start submitting. Because at the moment it's just I I had some stuff from Chester where they have a mixture of Roman / Mordheim buildings in their streets, and then obviously the stuff I got from Sweden, and then Jam has said he's going to be throwing some stuff in. Orinoco's given us some really nice bits and pieces from Italy, so Milan and Venice. Less canals
which
than
is
Birmingham,
the
but
only
kind of everything.
watery terrain.
You know, you say that, but anybody doing Carnivale who wants to know what buildings look like, they look kind of like that. Look at it with its weird patternation on it and then stupid thing across the top of it. Stupid looking. Crazy Italians. Anyway.
We're all mad.
Yep. Squirrels everywhere, Colin. Squirrels everywhere. But it does mean we can start putting together a compilation of scenics / terrain / ground cover. That's the other thing I want to put it in, you know, so people go, well, what's Ireland like in summer, winter, spring, autumn? Fuck autumn. But anyway, you know, if autumn, so be it. Or what's Spain like in self-same things? Or I must steal I know Lloyd was taking pictures for me. I must get them off Lloyd and upload them in here as well from his Balearic adventures, where he's got some very nice ones where his foot is in, so you can see both scale and color based on pasty white Irish skin, which is important if you're doing basing.
Yeah, it's
What we need to do is possibly
automatically white balancing.
Yeah, but there's like I see a set of like university students or something had worked out this color correction algorithm for underwater photographs, and they've got like a color palette that they set down, and there's a picture just taking the picture underwater and it looks all kind of green and weird, and then with the algorithm run on it, so it just strips out all the weird artifacting from the refraction through the water to actually what the colors would be, so the same palette of colors are now you know, the RGB sort of thing. So we need to possibly work out something like that. Not obviously algorithms, but like a color wheel or a color palette or something that you can set down so that people can then work off that. Anyway, that's just, you know, that's something for another day. But the important thing is we have references. Look, there's nobody from Hungary has scribbled up the side of it. Or no, it wasn't Hungary, it was Bulgaria, wasn't it? There's nobody from Bulgaria has scraped on any of those bricks there, as far as we can tell.
But I think James has a point. The project system can't handle Lloyd's folders.
No, but I just need to get him to give me the 2 or 3 pictures of ground cover. I don't care about the rest of his stuff. He can put his own project in if he wants to.
But to be fair, this picture taken by whoever looks pretty much like, you know, the thing that Lloyd has been showing off from Miniature Wonderland.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think what happened there was somebody from Italy visited Miniature Wonderland and seen that, and then when they got back to Rome, they went, "We should build this." So they did a 100-to-1 scale model where they just blew that miniature up to like ambiguate it.
I want that, but I want it so big that I can live in it.
Yeah, I live in it and walk around. It looks really nice, but I'm having to squint to try and see the details. So what if we make it really big so we can actually just walk around it? And a couple of Roman chippies got together and went, "Give us 10 guys and 6 months, and we'll do that for you." And that's how that worked.
And then some fucker comes around and starts scratching his name into the wall.
Oh, just can't trust people. Just can't leave things alone.
Wasn't he sentenced now for something? I can't remember.
I think the Italians possibly want him extradited and castrated. There was talk about like a fine and a suspended sentence or something. I don't know, because obviously it happened in different countries. So, and England aren't in the EU anymore, so they probably just went, "Nah, they're fine."
Yeah, but they weren't really taking lightly to it. Thanks, Ewok and James, for the gifted subs.
Oh, you shouldn't encourage him, lads.
I'll just spend it all on brown lemonade.
Oh, see, that's the worst. And Jill as well. Yeah, that. Jam to give Jill a sub. I don't know why this means. Does that mean you get money? Is this how this works?
Yes.
Fair enough.
So
Well done.
basically, somebody is buying I was going to say prescription, but no, that's well, subscription. That's the word.
Sure. Definitely one of those. So, yeah.
Musk and Facebook guy, aka Zuckerberg, were going to battle in the Colosseum, but Musk backed down. Well, yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, but I imagine Zuckerberg with his lizard-like ways. You know that bit in Tron Legacy when Rinsler runs up the wall and just runs onto the roof?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Zuckerberg would have done something similar, like Kif in Futurama. Then Musk wouldn't be able to get him down. He'd be there with a pole trying to poke at him.
Yeah. Also, since Zuckerberg is actively doing martial arts, I think Musk would have been splattered somewhere.
It's all good. Oh, speaking of good, there's one we can leave you with.
Oh, can you imagine? First, we got a tiny.
Can we stop referring to him as can we stop referring to him as Zuck, by the way? Because I used to have a character in Warcraft for years, and it was named after the Gand Findsman from Star Wars, actually, Zuckus. But everybody would call him Zuck as like a shortened, abbreviated form, and I don't like to be compared to that bell end. So
Mr. Zuckerberg. What I was going to say was, first we have millionaires getting imploded while doing their hobby in the deep, deep sea. And then we have two more rich fucks that are going after each other and hitting themselves in the face while doing it.
sure, why not?
I say let them fight. Just
remember that episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Tasha Yar had to fight a space African on a like a set of monkey bars, like a jump gym. They were having to dash around with poisoned metal gauntlets.
Yeah,
they should do that. Like that, like what it's like extreme tag, isn't that what they call it? Where they set up the thing and then they're like leaping and jumping and spinning and they have to stay away from each other for like a minute, but with metal poisoned gauntlets that they're swinging at each other.
They could also do the one from the original series where there was this weird pattern on the floor and you weren't allowed to step outside the pattern and they had these long sticks whacking at each other. That one.
That'd be good.
Fun times.
Good,
One can
good
only
times.
hope and dream.
So fire them all like a Russian meat cube.
Also, and I'm going to leave you with that in mind, remember what dear Lemmy said. Eat the rich.
Good times.
They're tasty like that. See you a lot next week. Also, fair bit of warning.
Yes.
Tomorrow is my last day of work for 2.5 weeks following that. So I'm having spare time after the next 2
weeks
hangouts. So I might be able to sneak in some alcohol.
How come I don't get time off? Everybody else gets time off. It's outrageous. It's an outrage. It's an outrage.
Good night.
Bye.